All right, we're here for the Algebra 1 Star Study Guide 5. Um, Pretty straightforward here. I'm going to just do one of the examples up here and I'll do the first problem and then let you do at least one or two of the others. But basically, you can use the Desmos system again to graph these. So notice it kind of over explains this a little bit, but what they're wanting us to do is to match this graph with the correct inequality down here. And what's interesting is they're all the same equation, but with different symbols. So, and it's very similar down on this next problem, but I'm going to show you how to do inequalities in the Desmos system. So we're going to be trying to recreate this graph over here. So let's jump and let's clear out what we already have. And so we know it's going to be 3x minus 2, and it's either y is less than or equal to, less than, greater than, or greater than or equal to. So let's talk about how to type that in. We have 3x minus 2, and we have y equals would just be the line. So we already know how to do that. We've been doing a lot of that in the previous lessons. So now how do I type these various symbols? So they're on the keyboard. They are next to your M. You see the little arrow buttons, the inequality symbols. So if I want to do that, and I want to do greater than, for instance, that would be what I would get. I would get y is greater than 3x minus 2. Or I can do less than, and it'll give me a shading below this way. Notice that when I do either greater than or less than, we have the line is dashed. So how do I get that to show what I have on my equation, which is my question, which is a solid line? So there's an issue there. So that's where it comes in with the equal to. So the way you type that is you're going to type the symbol that you want to use, like less than, and then hit the equal sign. And you'll notice what happened. I'll do it again just so you can see. The system automatically took the equal sign and made it part of the symbol here. So that's how we end up with the graph here with a solid line. Or I can do greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and it does a solid line. So just that's how you do it. So we already probably noticed from all the different versions of that the one that matches is going to be y is less than or equal to 3x minus 2 because it shaded below and it's a solid line. So just to jump back and forth, you can see how those lines are the same. So that's how we get the first answer choice. I'm going to let you do number 2 on your own. You just recreate this graph using one of these equations in Desmos. Number 3, translate the situation into an inequality function. A loader's bucket holds 1 ton of sand. The loader is moving sand onto a site that already has 225 tons of sand at a rate of 15 buckets per hour. What is the least number of hours it will take for the loader to fill the site with 200 tons of sand? So we have a couple of different concepts here. The first is which of these numbers is the x, the thing that goes with the x, or the slope, and which of them is the constant. So the site already has 225 tons of sand. That's not a change. That's just what it starts with. So that's why it has to either be the first or the last answer choice. B and C do not work. The reason they don't work is here the 225 is with the x. And we know that mathematically, that's where the slope goes, or the rate of change. We did that in the previous lessons. So the 15 buckets per hour, and it says that's the increase. So it either has to be 15x plus 225 or 15x, it's got to be greater than that or less than that. And it says, what is the least number of hours? The least number of hours it will take. So this is where it gets a little confusing, but because it says what is the least number of hours, we want to know the lowest and everything above. Because if it says the least, that means we want to go to the lowest point and not below that point. So we want to stay above the line. So it's a little bit confusing the way it's worded because it says least, but what it really means is greater than. So we want to know the least number being the lowest point and everything above that point. So that's why we choose the greater than. And I'm going to let you do number 4 on your own. Very similar concept. You just need to make sure you match up the numbers with what it belongs with. You have shirts for 12, jeans for 36. I think you'll be able to figure number 4 out. So just use kind of just some basic common sense on those. And then that'll be it for this lesson.